Hi, my name is Naomi Joy Gallagher. Welcome to my channel. Today I have a relaxing full body stretch for you. And to be honest, I'm in quarantine right now with my husband. We're just getting over the virus, so I need this stretch just as much as you. So please excuse my gravelly, deep voice today. I'm going to be using a long band. If you don't have one of these bands, you can always use a sheet or a towel, whatever you have laying around the house. So we'll just place that to the side for now. We're going to start today stepping wide. So your hip, your knees, and your toes are turned out. And we're going to sit down into a little squat position. So you're pressing your knees back, lengthening through your lower back, drawing your belly button in. We're going to inhale, reach to the sky, big stretch. And then exhale, circle the arms down. We'll do this a few more times. Breathing through your movement, letting go of tension. One more. And now this time we're going to come down. We're going to bring our hands to the inner thighs. You're going to press your knees back, opening up through the adductors. And we're going to lean forward ever so slightly. And I'm going to mirror you. You're going to press your right hand to your inner thigh and you're going to twist the opposite way. And you can even let your shoulders lift up a little bit. And we'll inhale center and exhale, we'll switch sides. And now as you come back to center, we're going to stand tall and we're going to turn the toes in, internal rotation. Heels are out, toes are in. Start to push your hips now back. And as you fold down, walk your fingertips forward. Feel free to bend your knees as much as you need to be comfortable. Now, as you bow down, walk the fingertips forward and round the upper back slightly. Hug your belly button into spine. Now we're going to walk the upper body over to your right, and you're going to reach long through your left hand. Focus on pressing down through the opposite heel. So remember, you can bend your knees if you need to. You could also explore widening your stance if that's more comfortable. And now let's walk through center. We'll switch sides. You're pressing down through the opposite heel, reaching through your right fingertips. Beautiful. Let's come back to center now. And with your hands on your hips, flat back, we come all the way up, push down through the feet. Now let's heel toe the feet in towards each other, and we're going to maintain that turn out. So hip, knees, and toes are turned out. I'm going to turn now this way, and I'm going to step forward with my right leg. So I'm flexing my foot, and I'm going to bend into the back leg, but I'm going to straighten through the front leg. That's the right. Now start to push the hips back. We're stretching the hamstring and the calves on the front leg. And you're welcome to bring your hands to your front thigh, engaging your quadricep, your front thigh muscles. Or if you're more flexible, you could bring your hands now down on either side of your foot. Now focus on maintaining a straight spine. So keep your chest lifted, squeeze your shoulder blades together, spread your toes wide. And remember that you're bending into your back knee. You're pushing your weight back into your hips. Breathe. Now, as we come up, we're going to keep the right leg forward. We're just going to take a big step forward and then another big step back. Square your hips to the top of the mat. And as you lunge into your front thigh, start to straighten through the back leg and press down through the outer blade of your foot. So you're stretching through your calf muscles. Now, as you lunge a little bit deeper, think about pulling your belly button in. Start to reach your arms now up. Open your chest up. Relax your shoulders. Lunge a little bit deeper. Great. And then let's bring our hands now down on either side of the front foot, and we'll just step forward and we'll come up with a flat back. Beautiful. Let's step back, and now let's repeat that on the opposite side. So hips are turned out, left leg steps forward, Push your hips back, straighten through the front leg, either hands on front thigh, or you're welcome to bring your hands to the floor. I've got my feet are about hip distance with this. And I'm pushing down through the heel, spreading the toes wide, stretching through the calf and the hamstring muscles. Keep your belly button hugged in, and know that you can be up here with your hands on your thigh if that's more comfortable for you. And you're bending that back knee. Now, as we come up, we're going to step forward and step back. So we're using the full length of the mat. We're squaring the pelvis to the top. And you're pressing down through the outer blade of the back foot. As you lunge, your front knee is stacked over your ankle. Your belly button is hugged in. And we're going to lift the arms now up to the sky, looking up. Breathe into the stretch. Now we have one more breath. And now hands come down on either side of the foot. We step forward and we stand tall. Great. So now we bring our feet into parallel, and you're going to reach your right arm out and turn your right thumb down. We'll reach the right arm back behind. I just want to show you from the side or from the back. Looks like this. So we're internally rotating the shoulder. And you're going to actually allow that shoulder to roll forward slightly. And we're stretching the external rotator cuff muscles in the shoulder. Now the opposite ear is going to lean down, and you're going to start to look down onto, I'm mirroring you, you're looking down on your left side. And I want you to explore this stretch. So we can start by looking down, and then start to lift the chin up ever so slightly, and start to play with the angle of the chin, down, up, side, whatever feels best for you. And then start to breathe into your hand in the back, and your palm is facing up behind you. So your shoulder is rounding forward on this. You're breathing into your back. Now let's bring our head back up. We'll release our arm, just take a roll back with the shoulders, and we're gonna switch sides. So your left thumb turns down, you reach behind you, shoulders are back, and now let's tilt the ear to the side, we'll look down, and then start to explore the angle on this side. Now you may notice that it's different from side to side. I feel this in my body. And you might be able to walk your hand up a little higher up your back. Feel how your breath is expanding into your ribs. Soften your face. And now let's lift the head back up. Release the arms now down and bring the hands to your shoulders. Let's go forward and back. And as the elbows pull back, squeeze your shoulder blades together. And now let's start to circle back. Opening up through your chest. We have one more flow. Last time. Beautiful. Let's let the arms now go. Now I'm going to step to the back of my mat, parallel feet, palms facing down thighs. And with knees bent, I'm going to nod the chin to chest, rounding through the back, drawing the belly button in, and then really slowly just rounding vertebra by vertebra. Now, as we come down, we're going to gently walk down to hands and knees, and we're going to step the right leg forward into a lunge. So as you step forward, line your knee right over top of your ankle, and I'm going to place the weight on the top of the back foot. Now, as we come up, let's just line the back knee right underneath the hip, and let's focus on tucking the tailbone under so we get a nice deep hip flexor stretch. Keep your low belly engaged and squeeze through your back glute as you slowly come forward. So you want to keep that core pulled in. Now the opposite hand, that's the left hand, it's going to reach to the outside of your knee, and I've got my other hand here on my hip. And I'm going to start by lifting the chest up, slowly going a little bit deeper into the hip flexor stretch. And you're actively squaring your hips, so your front heel is pulling back and the back hip knee is squaring forward. Now you can stay here straight spine, or you can explore tucking the tailbone under a little bit more and rounding the upper back a little bit, maybe even looking down. So you choose what feels best for you. I'm pressing down into my back foot, so all my toes are pushing into the earth. And now as we unwind, we're going to bring our hands, shoulder to the inner foot, and we're going to heel toe the right leg to the outside of the mat. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee up, try and straighten your back leg the best you can, and let's start to move with this forward and back. So if this feels too intense for you, you can always just keep your knee down. Lift your chest up. Breathe. Feel free to exhale through your mouth at any time. It's such a good way to move your energy, to let go of tension, and to let go of stress. Great, so we'll lower the back knee down, and now we're going to take a step back into an active child's pose. So your legs are in parallel. Walk your fingertips to the top of the mat, press the hands into the earth, widen the upper back. Now we're going to step forward with the left. So starting in this high, or this lunge position with the knee down, let's bring that back knee right underneath the hip. You're on the top of the foot. Tuck the tailbone under, squeeze through the back glute, slowly come forward. And now your opposite hand is going to reach to the outer knee, and you're going to twist towards your left. So we'll start sitting up tall, chest is lifted. Relax your face. And now perhaps round the upper back a little bit. Tuck the tailbone under by squeezing the belly, and you're curving your spine. As you're doing this, you're pushing down through the top of that back foot, and you're pulling your feet towards each other. Now we'll let that go, and we'll bring our hands to the inside of our foot, and we'll heel toe wide. Tucking the back toes under, we're going to lift the back knee up, straightening your leg. As you do this, let's start to move forward and back. Relax your shoulders. Think about squeezing through your back glute. Let's take another breath here. And we'll release our knee to the earth. Step back to child's pose. Walk your fingertips forward. And now let's walk our hands to knees and join me in a tall seat. We're going to come to cross-legged. I need to have a little sip of water so I can keep talking. All right, so in this cross-legged position, we're now going to stretch the tricep and the internal rotator muscles. So as you bend your elbow, draw your gaze down for a moment, and then start to lift the gaze up and start to press your head into your arm. Take some big deep breaths here and start to walk your fingertips down through the center back. Relax your jaw. We will switch sides. So starting with the eyes down, relax your shoulder away from your ear, and now start to lift the gaze up, looking forward. Breathe into the back ribs. Allow your belly to soften. And we have one more breath. Now as we let that go, we're going to take your right arm across and the opposite arm comes forward, and you're actively pressing these arms in towards each other. So the right shoulder, your right shoulder, you're focusing on widening your shoulder blade across your back. You You could even round the back a little bit, so you're drawing your front ribs in. So we're stretching our pulling muscles between the shoulder blades. And now I'm going to hold on to the right wrist. You're going to give it just a little pull. And you're going to start to turn your belly to the opposite side, so towards your left. And now you're going to reach across. So I'm mirroring you. You're rooting your opposite hip down, stretching the lower back all the way up into your armpit, rounding the upper back a little bit. Walking that hand around to where you can find the best stretch for you. It's going to be different for all of us. And now let's come back to center, all the way up. And let's switch sides. So now you're going to take your left arm across. You're going to hug these points towards each other, so it's active. And now maybe round the back a little bit. So you're widening your shoulder blade across the back, tucking the chin. Breathing into the back. As we sit up tall, we're going to pull on the wrist now. Little pull if that feels good. And then I'm going to twist the belly the opposite way, and I'm going to reach across to the ground here on the opposite side. So you're going to get the best stretch for the lower back if you root down the opposite sit bone. Feel that? It makes a big difference. So you root down and then reach in opposition with the hand. Explore the angle for the best stretch. And we'll walk back to center and we will roll up. Lovely. So let's bring our feet now forward. So feet flat on the floor. Hands back, and you're going to go side to side, mobilizing the hips, internal and external rotation. Now, as we drop the legs to one side, think about twisting the belly the opposite way. Lift your chest up. It's a nice stretch for the lower back. And now let's go the opposite way. So we twist the belly and the chest, the opposite direction. Great. And now as we come to center, we're going to bring our legs back to the first direction. And so they're going over to the right. And now you're going to reach for your left ankle. You're going to hold on to either the foot or the ankle. And you're going to tuck the top of the foot here in through the side of the hip. So we're going to stretch now your quads, your hip flexors. So tuck your tailbone under, start to walk your hands now back. And rather than just flopping down, stay active with it. So push the top of the foot down, squeeze through your glutes, tuck the tailbone under, just like what we were doing in that lunge. And if you're more flexible, you could start to come on down onto your elbows, lifting your chest up. Now, if you're feeling any discomfort in your knee, you can always modify this and you could be here. And you're kicking away from your sit bones, just like how we're pushing down into the floor. That's going to help stabilize your knee. Continue to breathe. Think about pressing the hips up. Let's try and relax the face, the jaw. Let go. And now with your hands pressing down, squeeze your core. Let's release that foot forward and we'll switch sides. So knees go to the opposite side. We hold on to the top of the foot. Your heel is on the outside of your sit bone. We start to slowly lean back. Press the top of the foot down and then lift your hips up. Tuck the tailbone under. Squeeze your glutes. Breathe. I don't know about you, but I am definitely feeling this stretch right now. Slowly, let's make our way now up. So hands to the earth, core pulls in. Let's release our legs, and I'm just going to position myself now down the length of the mat. So this is where we're going to grab our band, and we're going to make our way into a hamstring stretch. So let's lay down, and we're going to start with the right leg. And you're going to take your strap, your towel, whatever you have. You're just going to place it on the ball of the foot, and you're going to hold on to your strap with both hands. Now, to stretch the hamstrings, we want to be straightening the leg the best that we can. So keep in mind that I'm very flexible in my hamstrings, okay? So for most people, they're going to be like here, right? Or you might even be here, okay? Everyone's going to be different, so it's wherever you can feel the stretch. Now, what's important is that you're maintaining a neutral spine. So if you're rounding your back and lifting your tailbone, you're not going to be stretching your hamstrings. You're cheating. So you want to maintain neutral spine. There's a little bit of a curve under the lower back. And you could either have the bottom leg bent with the foot flat like I'm doing, or you could straighten the leg out. You choose. Now, as you straighten your leg, let's think about engaging your quads, the front of the thigh. That's going to help increase the flexibility of the hamstrings. And I want you to notice how you're holding the strap. So often I see people do this. They're like bunching the shoulders up and just creating tension in their shoulders. So I suggest walking your hands up the strap so your arms are long and that you can relax your shoulders. Now, as you flex the foot, it's called a dorsiflexion. I want you to think about spreading your toes and think about pushing up through your heel and bringing those toes in towards your face. So you're also stretching your calf muscles as well. Big, deep breaths. And now we're going to enter into like an IT or TFL stretch down through the side of the hip. So you're going to switch, you're going to transfer the band into your left hand. And you're going to start to, and again, some of us are going to be like here, but you're going to take your leg across the body. So you're pulling with your left hand. And your hip can lift up a little bit, but it's not lifting up all the way. You want to think about rooting it back a little bit. And you're just pulling enough that you start to feel that stretch down through the side of your hip. And it'll be different for all of us. So for some, you might be able to be a little bit higher like me. Now, as you do this, let's think about pressing the opposite shoulder down. Remember to breathe. And let's flex that foot. And I'm pressing the outer blade of my foot into the strap. Good. All right, let's come back to center now, and we'll release that. You can go ahead and just let your leg drop to the ground, and just notice how your legs feel from side to side. And now let's switch sides. So left side. We'll start first with the hamstring stretch. So remember, you can have your knee bent if you prefer. You've got both hands on the strap. Okay, maybe start to straighten the leg and explore where you can maintain a neutral spine with a straight leg. Think about squeezing through your quadricep muscles so your kneecap is stable. Push up through your heel. Breathe into your back. Notice how you're holding your face, if your jaw is, if you're gripping at all through your mouth, your teeth, relax. There should be space between the teeth. And now let's switch the band over to the right hand, and your left leg is going to go over to the right. So again, your hip can lift up a little bit, but we're not twisting through the hips. Keep that left hip pretty heavy. And then notice this right shoulder. If your shoulder's creeping to ear, drop it down, gather your elbow in slightly, and flex your foot. Push out through your heel and press the outer blade of your foot into the band. Beautiful. Okay, let's take another big breath. Oh, that feels good. Excellent. Okay, come back to center. Let's release that. Nice. So now I'm going to let go of the band. I'm not going to use it anymore. And I'm going to roll here onto one side. I'm actually going to switch sides here just to get on the right again. So now we're laying down on our right side, and we're going to do another beautiful deep glute IT band quad stretch, a good combo. So your top leg, so the right, you're going to reach for your ankle or the top of the foot, and now you're going to kick behind you. So similar to what we did earlier here, we were stretching through the quads. You're going to kick behind you, and you want to keep your hips stacked. So watch that you're not leaning back like this. Keep your belly pulled in and squeeze your glutes, tuck the pelvis, press the pelvis forward. Now this bottom leg, you're going to do a figure 4 stretch. So you're going to rotate externally, and you're going to place your heel on this thigh. And you're going to press your outer edge of your foot into the thigh, and then kick this leg behind you. Now you're actively flexing that back foot, and you're kicking behind you, stabilizing that knee. And as you're doing this, let's think about lifting the chest up in opposition. That's going to help your balance. Continue to press that bottom outer edge of the foot into the thigh. Breathe. Awesome. And then let's let that go. And I'm going to just turn to the other side here. And now we'll bend just get my mic here out of the way. We'll bend the left knee, and we'll kick behind. So notice that your knee will want to go out. Let's try and drop it down, and then let's bend here into like a figure 4 stretch on the bottom leg. And now let's press that foot into the thigh. Breathe. So remember, we're not rocking back, but we're pressing forward. Lots going on. And as you can see here, I'm making a pillow with my bottom arm. You could also stretch this arm out and just lay your head down, whatever feels best for you. All right, let's take one more breath. Nice work. And then we'll let that go. And now we're going to lay on our back for one more stretch. We're going to do a reclined twist. So I have got my feet and knees hugged together. And now I'm going to cross my right leg over my left. So I've got like this knee to knee stack. And now I'm going to push my bottom foot down. I'm just going to take my hips over to the right like an inch. Lift the legs up, squeeze the inner thighs, and we're going to twist the legs and hips over to the left. And then just notice my right arm. My palm faces up. I've got my elbow a little bit lower than the shoulder. Belly button is in. And now I'm going to press the back of the right shoulder into the ground. So here's a nice chest stretch. And then the left hand is going to press on the top of the right thigh. We're going to press down. Now, if this feels too intense for you, you can let go of the leg crossing and just stack your knees one on top of another. Make sure your hips are stacked, your belly button is hugged in, and your shoulders are away from your ears. Now, you could be looking straight up. You could be looking over to the right hand if that feels okay for your neck. But I want you to focus on pressing the back of the right shoulder down. And if you're quite tight in your pectoral muscles, you may not be able to touch all the way, and a good option is that you could place like a pillow underneath your shoulder for support if you need it. So we have one more breath. And then let's release. We'll come back to neutral, so both feet on the ground. And we're going to switch now. So left over right. hips to the left. Stack your hips, your knees here over to your right. And now the left palm is face up. Remember, your elbow's a little bit lower than your shoulders. And the right hand, you're going to place it on the top of the left thigh. So we're either looking directly up or we're looking over to the left side. Breathe into your back. Let go of tension. Let's take one more big breath here together. And now we're going to release, coming back to center. And let's finish here by bringing our knees to chest. We'll give ourselves a sweet little hug. Yay, we stretched. And then let's come on up to a tall seat. And with your hands on your knees, start to ground yourself. Take a roll back with your shoulders. Just notice how they feel. Breathe in, breathe out. One more. And then let's take a big breath in and we'll gather our energy. Exhale, we'll ground down. We've got one more. Inhale. And exhale. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this stretch session, give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you soon. Bye.